Maggie!
Detective Kamshu! Oder passiert jetzt hier noch was? Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way to turn the situation around. If I only had a clue. Did I miss something that can help me cast down his alibi? I need to calmly think this through one more time, and with logic. Okay, nice. Connect my thoughts. Kann ich das so machen vielleicht? Oder dass es eine andere Person war? There were 2 bullets left at the scene of a crime. One that robbed Mr. Faith of his life, and one that nearly robbed me of my jacket. Bedeutet jetzt, was schlimmer ist. However, the murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once, meaning that it is entirely possible that a second gun was used in my office tonight. But seeing as how the killer had to steal Mr. Faith's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been the property of an entirely different person. Which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. Nice one, Edgeworth. Die Third Person. Okay, und jetzt habe ich hier nicht mehr irgendwie krass viel Auswahlmöglichkeit. Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight, that would also resolve the issue of why my shelves were appended twice. Das ist ein komisches Wort. We know that the shelves were disturbed once before and once after the murder, so it shouldn't be much of a stretch to think that it was the work of 2 different people. Once by the person who stole the victim's gun and then killed him with it, and once again after the murder by a second culprit. Who was the owner of the second gun? If we suppose that the second culprit's gun was the one that was pointed at my back. Objection, Mr. Portsman. It seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great, so you finally come to your senses. Mr. Edgeworth! This has been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. Ich bin auch voll drauf eingefallen. I had assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief.
A thief? But sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction of facts?
Not at all. It simply means that the killer was someone else. And it means that in actuality 2 culprits stole into my office tonight.
What do you mean, 2?
It explains both why my shelves were disturbed twice and how there were 2 guns. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry into my office. Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know? If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. Musik, Alter. In the end, if you really are innocent, then you should have nothing to worry about. Now then, returning to my scenario, Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time.
So then, this will be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right?
Correct. And then just when he was about to look somewhere else, who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith.
And why did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir?
He probably had business with Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area. But that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office, would be my guess. Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right?
And he must have thought it was odd, so he came into this office to check it out.
Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do. But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Faith probably let his guard down. But Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then he killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing. Bruh. Sweated. Die Musik. Oh. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he had also left the fake dying message behind.
You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that?
Well, things were as simple as that, when all would be solved, however. There was yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated. There was another?
Visitor, sir?
Yes, and this other person's objective was also to steal something from me. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so they stole the master key from the security guard's room, and then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize.
Stolen zero file, right, sir?
Correct, only just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter.
So the shelves getting messed up twice and 2 bullets. It was all because 2 different people were doing those things at 2 different times.
Precisely. So now, do you see, Mr. Portsman? The person I met was just a thief, and was not, in fact, Mr. Faith's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant, because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit.
What's so funny, pal?
Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything.
Of course it does. It's Mr. Wedgworth after all.
But you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory is right, it would indeed render my alibi, which has withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there's still one defining point of your argument for which you have no evidence. Your supposition that I was the first visitor.
Mr. Wedgworth! You can't let him get away with that, sir.
But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point. I know. Don't say that, sir.
I don't believe this. Don't worry, Reggie. I'll do something if I must.
Do you know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. If a person you met really was just a plain old thief, then why is that person not your main suspect, that is, if your theory is correct? Okay. That thief you ran into should be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? You should be out here looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby. I had to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at criminal affairs. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left. So you think we should be out there looking for the thief? Of course! Now is the time to be wasting time on dead-end discussions. I don't think it's all dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? Oh Gott, das hat mir nicht gefallen. I know he's lying. I know he was here at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. Okay, was haben wir? Dann Alibi Part 2. So, was haben wir denn Note? Es war 3 Pieces of Evidence. So we talked about it, it looks like out. Das könnte auch was anderes sein. Muss nicht wirklich connected sein, I guess. Das ist, wenn der Body gefunden wurde. Stone Safe. Kann ich hier noch was machen in Stone Series? Sieht nicht so aus. Okay, mal gucken, was er noch weiter sagt. Okay, wir pressen einfach mal wieder ein bisschen. Once escaped, I highly doubt the thief would linger nearby. Well, you never know, maybe they didn't get what they really were after. Oh, you talk like you know quite a bit about this thief. Ah, it's nothing like that. I have no idea about anything, after all. So. Actually, no, I wouldn't. Why not? That's elementary. A dying message, of course. Mr. Faith's killer very clearly left those letters on the spines of those files. It was after they were on there that the thief stole one of them.
You mean the 0 files, right?
And that's how we also know the letters themselves were a setup, and not from Mr. Faith. If the thief was the killer, do you think they would try to undermine themselves? Sinks in. Maybe the killer just didn't think of that either. Yes, that must be it. Maybe, just maybe. Okay, pressen wir ein bisschen weiter hier. Komm schon, schwitzen. But according to Mr. Faith's note, hold on. I thought we had already cleared that up. Didn't we say that Jim left that note for me in the early evening? If you have proof that he left it at a different time, say, just before he was murdered. I don't have any, no. You see, so I insist again that I was in my office the entire time. Why didn't you go there with Mr. Faith? That's because he said he was tired and was going to take a quick nap. You know those sofas in the hallway? He likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. And what of the evidence he brought? They were things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items, a gun and a pendant. Aha. Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks. Okay. Das heißt, das können wir machen. Und dann sagen wir Present. Objection. Only 2 pieces. I believe the proper phrase here is you fail. Excuse me? You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me. What are you talking about? I haven't even hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read carefully. Ah, it says that Mr. Faith was bringing 3 pieces. Yes, and this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portsman. I can't believe to get tripped up by simple arithmetic. Haha, Sportler können kein Mathe. Where is the missing piece of evidence? You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe.
You don't have to say it, sir. I pat the guy down from head to toe.
Breaks the spine. What? Don't come any closer, I'm warning you.
This is all part of the investigation, pal, so don't even think about stopping me.
No!
Hey, what's this? He had this on him, sir.
Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide.
Why would you hide something like that?
There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would unequivocally point to that person himself as the real killer. Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail. For the section of this tape that will drive the last nail into his coffin. Ah, achso, okay. Was steht da für ein Incident? Sorry. K8 und da ist Blut.
Ah, that's blood, isn't it?
Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. The blood is still fresh.
You mean this might be Detective Faith's blood?
No, you've got it all wrong. No amount of denial can save you. We have but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now you will tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video. Yeah, it's totally suspicious. Was it at the time of his death? Did Detective Faith have this videotape on his person when you killed him? You know very well that there's no way to prove that. Not even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints. If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderous you and Mr. Faith. No, impossible. Er hat die Goldmedaille verschluckt. Oh mein Gott. We've done it, boys. Wir haben es geschafft. Wer war der Second Thief jetzt?
Mr. Portsman has been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir.
Very good.
And results we get back from the lab tests on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. The blood work came back, and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood on there. And as a bonus, they were also able to lift a few of Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir. It was nothing. I'm just sorry you caught up in a murder in my office. Please accept my apologies. Oh, it was nothing, really, compared to what I've been through, I mean. I consider myself lucky that it was only a burglary and a murder at this time, sir. If it had been a hold-up or hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from a goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person. Something tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail.
You know something, sir? That Mr. Portsman was one corrupt prosecutor.
And why would you say that he was corrupt?
Well, I heard that there were a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. There's even rumors about how some of the evidence he uses is forged, sir.
Forged evidence, huh?
And as they even decided not to prosecute a few cases for a really vague reason.
Oh, that guy was a complete disgrace to the entire profession. We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office.
Yeah, whenever we get near the topic, he just clamped up.
Mysterious. Although we can be pretty certain that it was to steal something.
It's just between you and me, sir, but there's a rumor that some sort of huge organization is involved behind the scenes.
Interessant. Oh, well. With Mr. Portsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly lends credence to that rumor. It would seem that we haven't heard the last of this.
Huh? The Mr. Portsman is the bad guy?
I didn't say that, but rather that there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance of this piece of evidence. Does he? The person who stole this file, the other villain of the night.
Yeah, I wonder who it was.
And what happened to the other stolen pages? I wonder who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint? Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Yes. I came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir. This card.
What is it, sir?
Das Symbol kann ich nicht.
Is there a bird or something on there?
It's not just any bird. It is the mark of a raven, a three-legged raven. Even you should know what this is, detective.
Oh, it's about that thing, is it? The great thief everyone is talking about?
Yes, it is the mark of the great thief, Yatagarasu. Hey, Octopath Traveler. And the mark of a legendary bird, the Yatagarasu, is noble to the end, a modern Robin Hood. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yatagarasu, oder Yatagarasu, ich spreche jetzt nicht Japanisch, appears and vanishes at will. That's a bit too much for me. Though we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. Corporate dealings exposed. The theft is always performed in silence and always with perfection. Once the target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with this single card. Although it has been a while since the Yatagarasu's last appearance.
Hey, Mr. Ashworth, look! Something's written on the bag!
What? Let me see.
It's the location where the thief put the stolen files.
So the person who stole the contents of a file was the Yatagarasu? Yatagarasu. Organization. Quite a few key words are popping up in this mystery. The murder in my office. The return of the great thief Yetagarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events even coming, for they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. Alles klar. The End. Nice. Haben wir den ersten Case endlich abgeschlossen. Jetzt noch 4 Folgen. War auch gar nicht mehr so schlecht. Wir speichern natürlich. Und ja, ich bedanke mich fürs Zusehen. Wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal wieder. Und tschüss.